Welcome to Creator Upload, your creator economy podcast. I'm Lauren Schnipper.
And I'm Joshua Cohen.
Josh,
Yes.
I know we have a lot to talk about. We have to talk about BrandCast. There's lots going on. But before we get to that, I need to bring up this Wall Street article that came out just a couple weeks ago about brands and creators and what's happening. And somebody named, I think it's Joshua Cohen.
It's pronounced Joshua.
Joshua, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I go the biblical sense. Josh Cohen, chief executive of data from Gospel Stats, was quoted in an article in the Wall Street Journal, which directly sort of relates to what we're going to get into in BrandCast. Why don't you tell the kids what you were talking about in the Wall Street Journal?
I was talking about all the data we have at Gospel Stats about brand sponsorships on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
As any listener to the podcast knows, I also run this data product called Gospel Stats. It's a YouTube sponsorship intelligence platform that finds virtually all the sponsored videos on YouTube and provides data around them. A bunch of different use cases for that. One of which is providing Patrick Coffey at the Wall Street Journal with some really compelling data for his CMO Today column. So he was interested in looking at this evolution of sponsorships in the ecosystem and especially on YouTube because it's been in the news and it's been part of the meta a lot recently where you hear these big brands talk about how creators are important, how they want to get into the ecosystem. Unilever probably being the most engaging example of this, where they said they're going to devote 50% of their marketing budget to creators in the next several years. And Patrick Coffey had the question, is this actually happening? Are big brands getting into this ecosystem in a meaningful way in terms of sponsoring creators? And then we were able to provide him with some data that shows, look, these brands, these legacy brands, these household name brands that if we told them to our parents, they would recognize and be like, oh yeah, I've heard of Tide, obviously. I've heard of Walmart. They're entering the YouTube sponsorship ecosystem now more so than ever before. The quantities at which they're entering are way smaller than some of the more endemic partners that have been part of the ecosystem for a while. Your BetterHelps, your Raycons, your other types of VPNs, mobile games, etc. But they're starting to get involved with big and small creators in more meaningful ways, especially on short form. And that's the kind of data we were able to provide Patrick, and I think it led to a really compelling story.
YouTube creator sponsorships from household name advertisers grew 189% in 2025, but smaller and direct-to-consumer brands still accounted for more than 94% of 150,000 plus sponsored creator videos from last year, according to Joshua Cohen,
There we go.
chief executive of data firm Gospel Stats. Those are some compelling statistics and makes a lot of sense. But what I like what you guys do is when you find the really not weird, but unexpected brands that are doing a ton of work in partnerships with creators that you might that are unexpected. So I think a lot of really good information there. Thanks for providing the people what they need.
Lauren, we are. Honestly, we're able to find brands when they just get their start, testing the waters of the YouTube sponsorship landscape, and then you can track their trajectory. ZocDoc, for instance, another huge player in the YouTube sponsorship ecosystem. 3 years ago, we're maybe doing 10 videos a month. Now we're doing upwards of 300 sponsored videos a month on YouTube.
That's crazy.
Finding new brands and advertisers that are on the platform like that every single day. It's a fascinating ecosystem.
And Josh, where can people go if they want to learn how to work with Gospel Stats or find more about it?
You should totally go to gospelstats.com, check it out, sign up for a demo. You can also download our report that we published late last year. It's fantastic insight into the YouTube sponsorship landscape. We'll be coming out with more of those soon too.
Awesome. Okay, Josh, let's get to BrandCast. You were there last night, as I understand it, out of the house, unusual as it is. Sometimes he does it, as we love to document that very specifically when that happens.
Totally, yes.
So tons of announcements coming out of it. Do you want to just kind of give us the high level of the ones you're most excited about?
Yes, Lauren, I was at YouTube's BrandCast. For the uninitiated, BrandCast is YouTube's upfronts event. It used to be part of the digital content Newfronts, but they moved it to the television upfronts. I think this is the third or fourth year it's been part of the upfronts week. So it's towards the end of the week where NBC, Paramount, Netflix, Fox, and more have already done their presentations to advertisers so they can show off their wares, the big technology advancements, big new advertising advancements, and especially their shows that they're producing, and get advertisers to say hey, I want to buy me some of that. So YouTube has been doing their upfronts presentation BrandCast from the David Geffen Theater at Lincoln Center for the past few years. This is the 13th or 14th year of BrandCast overall.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been in this game for a while. And here you could see a dramatic difference in what this BrandCast looked like to the previous BrandCasts. The previous BrandCasts have been all about, hey, YouTube is big, we're massive, we're huge, we're driving culture, we got creators. And that was here too, except in this year, YouTube came out and said, we have these shows. And it looked a lot more like a traditional television upfront.
Oh,
The
interesting.
types of things that we've seen at the digital content new fronts years ago. I mean, when this industry first started thinking that it should do its upfront events, it pitched a bunch of different shows with big celebrities, AOL, Yahoo, even YouTube when it was doing its original series as part of YouTube Red, then redubbed YouTube Originals, was pitching big shows to advertisers from creators. And everyone was just way too early.
Yeah.
Kind of the market wasn't there in terms of viewership and in terms of just knowledge and willingness from the advertising industry to go in deep on these shows.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, the market's totally shifted. YouTube equals 13% of television viewership in the United States. It's the #1 podcast distribution and consumption platform in the US. It gets billions of users every month. So the people are there. Advertisers now have a much greater willingness to advertise on the platform. I mean, it made 40-something billion dollars in advertising revenue last year. That's obvious. And so now it gives them an opportunity to really showcase their creators and get their creators paid from these advertisers to produce the stuff that they want to do exclusively on YouTube.
So they're selling against specific shows. Like, I mean, to your point, like, I mean, because, New Fronts is historically is like you parade, the stars of Will and Grace on a stage and say, this is what the show's kind of going to look like this year. And like, what I think you've said this before, but like what it was like 80% of the ad buys for the year would typically get like sort of decided in that sort of week. So they have like Alex Cooper come out. Is this how it is? And like, it's like, she's like, okay, this is the next season of Call Her Daddy. And they're buying kind of their targeted ads against her show effectively. Is that what this looks like?
It's really interesting because it's just like all looks very familiar, but there's these subtle differences because it's happening on YouTube.
Right.
So first of all, the vast majority of these programs are probably going to get made anyway, regardless of direct sponsorship involvement in the program.
Right.
Because YouTube has this great revenue share ecosystem through AdSense and the partner program where it's giving 55 cents of every dollar to creators. So lots of these will be made anyway and will be advertiser supported, just not directly advertiser supported.
Right.
What YouTube's doing now is basically offering a new package to brands and marketers to say, hey, you can buy on YouTube now in this way too. We know you're used to buying television shows. You love buying television shows. You love buying television shows for the past 80 years. It's one of your favorite things to do. Hey, brands, marketers, one of your favorite things to do is buy television shows.
Literally your favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So like do it here.
Now you can do it here. We have shows.
It's not like we don't have shows.
You can make this your new favorite thing to do. And so
it's not a new favorite thing. It's your same favorite thing to do, just in a different place.
Yes, in a different place.
Yeah.
And
I love this pitch. You should be on stage. Go on.
So YouTube is basically like packaging these shows together saying, okay, here's who's going to be involved. Here's the production timeline. Also, sidebar, it's taken a maturity of the creator ecosystem to get to this point too, where they have even a production calendar.
Correct. So, and it's notable that it's the creators that they are showcasing are, I don't know, straddling more the line with like kind of, I contradict myself because I hate saying like traditional versus, creator because it's all one and the same. But like, these are folks that have like a mature kind of business media company in and of itself. Again, Alex Cooper is a great example of that. She has like a big company with a head of development and this and that and whatever. And so these are not just like some kid in the bedroom kind of stuff that gets a lot of views. These are people these are folks that they can rely on to just, produce their shows.
100%. And what YouTube is doing, it's saying, hey, sponsors, come integrate into this programming, buy a takeover perhaps of the media on the channel when this program is going to be launched. And if you want, and you should, because the efficacy of this is shown through all these other reports we're going to show you, is that if you should get the creator to also make the commercial, make the ad creative that is going to appear in the media,
Right.
that's going to then appear on their channel and other people's channels.
Which is very interesting, because I think that, like, if we take a beat and like how this is different than kind of traditional, network, that would be not unusual. Of course, you've seen like TV stars in commercials, but like that sort of like, I'm watching Will and Grace, and then like Sean Hayes in a commercial about something, and then back to Will and Grace. That doesn't really. That's not a thing.
That could have been amazing, though, right?
I probably,
It
but
probably
I
would have
think
been
that,
amazing.
but I think they would have felt like it cheapened the whole thing, and where now it's
Totally,
like,
yes.
let's just brand it all and just get the whole thing. Because now, if I'm still seeing Alex Cooper, I'm likely not going to go like elsewhere. I'm going to like actually watch the ad of Alex Cooper. You know what I mean? So it's like, but wasn't like there was not as many channels and shows and blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
like imagine you're watching Dancing with the Stars, and then
Ugh,
during a commercial break, Julianne Hough's shilling Pantene or something.
Love it.
That'd be
Dancing
amazing,
around.
right?
Just done. Yeah.
Done.
I'm in.
Done. Hey, television, we have a great idea for you too.
Hey, TV.
Yeah. How you
Sup-
doing?
Sup,
We have a
TV.
great idea for you too. So here are the kinds of stars that YouTube is doing these deals with. Kareem Rama, who was on stage at BrandCast with host Trevor Noah. He was the MC of the whole thing. Kareem Rama, you may know from Subway Takes. He's on the subway with his Metro card, talking to people, getting their take. He also had this original show called Keep the Meter Running, where he would get into a cab and say, hey, take me wherever you want. And then he would keep the meter running. So he's coming out with like a version 2.0 of that. Ideally with some brand that saw him at BrandCast that said, hey, this is amazing. Jesser is creating a series called Jesser Summer of Soccer and Pros versus YouTubers. He was on stage with Dwayne Wade, who also has his burgeoning YouTube network.
Wow.
Quinn Blackwell is doing Feeding Starving Celebrities 2.0. There are a lot. Erling Haaland, who is a professional soccer player, is documenting his road to the World Cup. Alex Cooper is doing a bunch of series, including Unwell Games, Pot Stir, which is like a Thanksgiving whodunit, Holiday Hard Lunch, and Before the Steps. Dude Perfect is doing something called Squad Games, where instead of the dudes versing people, they're getting two squads of people to verse each other. Trevor Noah is doing a world tour. Julia Shapiro Barnum is doing Celebrity Substitute. And Outside with Julia Shapiro Barnum. He's the creator and host of Recess Therapy, where he would go interview kids on the playground, which sounds creepy, but it's not. Cleo Abram, who was in the audience at the event and also been a guest on this esteemed Creator Upload podcast.
This very podcast. Go on.
They're trying to package Huge If True, her show. Johnny Harris has a show. Morgan J, who is also at the event, who does this really, it sounds kind of cheeky, but it actually plays really great in a crowd. This auto-tune comedy. And Hope Scope is doing a bunch of series. There are a ton of big name creators here that YouTube is helping to hopefully package and get advertisers to buy into their shows. What's super interesting about this too is like the creators own all of this. They're not giving up any kind of rights to a distributor. YouTube is just coming in to help facilitate these shows getting made because one, it's going to benefit the creators on the platform. More creators are going to want to be part of YouTube if there's this ecosystem here. And two, YouTube is going to make a lot more money from these brands getting involved with these creators because they're going to spend money on the creators themselves and then the media around it. And then YouTube's going to package a whole thing with search and Gemini and who knows what else together. But it can create for this really lucrative ecosystem that is the best deal in town for creators if you can get it.
Well, I think it's also like all of this is old, is new again, right? Like, YouTube has been doing a version of this for the past like 15 plus years. You and I remember when they spent $100 million creating, quote unquote, like gave $100 million to sort of different, call it creators, but it wasn't really creators. It was more like non-YouTube talent to sort of give them money to produce those shows. This was back in like 2011, 2012. And all these like native YouTubers at the time, I was working with Shane Dawson, were really pissed because they were like, why is YouTube giving money to these folks that like didn't kind of come up on the platform? Well, the reason they were doing that was because they wanted brands to see that what they were used to is on this platform. 99% of those shows didn't last more than like a year or whatever. And those of us, myself included, that were sort of ignorant at the time to be like, oh, haha, YouTube, you lost like $100 million. It's like, no, actually, they gained many, many, many times more than that because they did the job. They started doing this work, which was showing brands that like the content like that they like and know, the stars that they like and know are on this platform, and it's not so scary. And so this is
An
just another.
incredible marketing campaign to get
Yeah.
Tony Hawk to go produce 12 videos for your platform and talk about how he's doing videos on YouTube.
Yes. And then
Him and 99 other people.
Right. And so like this is just another version of that. It's just this constant drumbeat of like, how do we continue to convince? Because now it's less like, okay, the brands know that like they can do stuff on YouTube. It's more like they want these big giant spends to happen now. They want this television money now on YouTube. So it worked before, it'll likely work again.
Lauren, I also want to talk to you about just the rhetoric that the executives were using on stage at this event. And
Like the YouTube executives?
the YouTube executives, exactly.
Mhm.
It seems like there was some decided kind of internal shift in how they're going to talk about themselves publicly, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. You first saw this play out at the YouTube NewFront event, which happened a few weeks ago, which was basically a smaller version of this BrandCast, very smaller version of this BrandCast that just focused on kind of advertising solutions. When Kristen O'Hara, who's the VP of Agency Platforms and Client Solutions at Google, was on stage basically calling out TikTok and Instagram, saying, hey, advertisers, you're spending on TikTok and Instagram, you should move some of that budget or test with us too, because I think we're going to give you better results.
Right.
Which is like, no one ever mentions another platform on stage.
Right. That was the big moment there.
That was a big moment. And so then also during this presentation, whether it was Neil Mohan, Chief Business Officer at YouTube, Mariel & Co., or VP of the Americas in sales at Google, Sean Downey, they all had this kind of fighting attitude, let's go get them stance towards the ecosystem and their competitors. This is my favorite. It's from Sean Downey. He said, they all want to be like YouTube, referring to these other platforms, but you can't replicate the soul of YouTube. People come to YouTube with intent to be entertained, intent to learn, and intent to decide. I think that just encapsulates kind of YouTube's new way of presenting themselves to the brands and advertisers and marketers in this ecosystem, that like they're not pulling punches anymore. They're this 800-pound gorilla and they're going to act like it.
I mean, you specifically have been saying this for years. And so
Thank you. I have.
I think that they're listening finally.
Finally. You have enough YouTube execs on the podcast and you tell them this and they just, hey, you start to see them public.
I mean, you're welcome. Any other examples of this new fighting spirit that they've adopted?
One other example that I thought was very poignant was from June Silverstein, who's the CMO at Coach. And she went on stage to talk about a case study about her experience with YouTube, how the ROAS was 2x more what they experienced before, and they saw all this brand lift and increased retention, etc. And she brought up this really interesting point. She said, quote, you can't optimize your way into desire. And she was talking about like these other marketing tactics are all well and good, but you really have to work with creators because that's who this audience trusts. And you have to work with them in a way that makes sense, that's innate to your brand and also their version of storytelling, and find a genuine way to combine the two. You're not going to be able to like performance market your way into the hearts and minds of consumers, especially young consumers these days. You really have to meet them where they're at. That's why I really love this. You can't optimize your way into desire. You really have to be part of this conversation.
Josh, sounds like you learned a lot yesterday and got validated. Anything else you want to mention about BrandCast?
One thing that I thought was really innovative that is worth mentioning here that I think got undersold at the event, like the vast majority of the event was all these creator pitches, which are well and good, but YouTube has a ton of product developments and interesting use cases with Gemini and more that I think the advertising audience in the crowd would have liked to hit on a little bit more. I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, the biggest applause I've ever heard outside of Lady Gaga at a YouTube BrandCast event was when YouTube announced that there will be pause ads on connected TVs.
Oh, right.
Audible, huge roar from the crowd.
Roar.
So this is a crowd that's hungry for advertising innovations. And Sean Downey mentioned this, but I feel like they could have hit harder on it, where there's this new ad product where you can take 2 clicks to buy something through Google Pay when you're watching YouTube. So you pause YouTube or you click on an item, and in 2 clicks, you can have that item ordered. It's basically turning the television, the biggest screen in your living room, to the most broad and expansive shopping experience anyone could ever think of. I think this is going to have huge implications moving forward. I am a typical millennial. If there's any purchase over $50, I'm bringing out my laptop. I'm doing some research.
Serious research.
Yes.
I'm going on various. I'm seeing if I can get it secondhand.
Yeah.
I'm not
I'm doing some. I might have 2 computers up.
I mean, I don't know, because I'm going to go on an incognito browser because I think the cookies might be giving me a higher price. So let's go to some incognito and see how you're
totally
welcome.
But I think Gen X, boomers, and or the kids these days might really love this 2 clicks to purchase activity on their television screens on YouTube through connected TVs.
Great news coming out of BrandCast. We're going to get straight to uploads and downloads today. And I just think a great segue into this is LTK has just announced this new kind of partnership with Target Ambassadors, which is basically a new creator, program with social commerce. You can imagine how this works. But I think the reasoning that they're doing this and speaks to what you were just talking about is basically both Target and LTK sort of releasing some announcements that nearly 75% of U.S. consumers have bought something because of creator content. Consumers increasingly discover products through creators on platforms like Instagram and TikTok. I mean, we know this, but legitimately. And what I think is really interesting from my personal experience is I've been taking big breaks from Instagram. So basically I'm off it all week and I'll look at it on the weekends just to see if I have any messages, and I'll do a little scrolling, but I'm off it all week, much more productive, all good. You know what I'm doing a lot less of as a result of it?
Purchasing items. Yeah.
Shopping, Josh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I literally go on it for one day on the weekend and I'm like, I must buy everything. And now I'm seeing, and I get, because I follow people with really good taste and I get it. And but through the week, I'll kind of forget and I'll oh, whatever. And it's this is real, man. Now I'm getting a clear delineation. Good, bad, I don't know. Just telling you my experience. So I think this is obviously something that's gonna, it's a little bit of a no duh, great love. It's basically just Target Ambassador Program powered by LTK. These are the partnerships that should be happening. Very excited about that.
That reminds me, Lauren, of this internal research conducted in partnership with Meta. It was released back in early 2025. It said that taking a break from platforms like Instagram can boost emotional well-being. The study indicated that a 6-week break from Instagram was on average 22% as effective as professional psychological intervention in improving mental health.
Cut to Josh being oh, so that's why you've been in a good mood, Lauren.
Yes, totally. Lauren, real quick, TikTok is introducing they've had it for a while. They're just promoting it more now, but a TikTok Go program where you can just book all your hotels, all your airfare, your travel experience straight from your app.
I mean, again, TikTok with the partnerships, I will never, all respect where respect is due. You know my feelings, but I feel like it's this is what we should be, per what I just said, being on I'm going to book my vacation. Let's go. Let's do it. Although I'm going to go on another site.
Yeah, we're going to go on another site, but we're
going to, we're going to go and compare prices, and I'm going to.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-day experience to try to figure out how to book it.
Kayak. I will tell you what's been a month. I am literally about to do some work on a house, as you are aware, and I'm literally so deep in ChatGPT analyzing what credit card I should get for the bonus points, because I know I'm going to do some big purchases right now, and it literally is the point where ChatGPT is you clearly can't decide. I can't help you anymore.
Yeah,
ChatGPT's officially annoyed with me. Everybody
totally peg you as a millennial if it didn't know already.
All right, Josh, I think we did it.
Lauren, I think that's it. I'll see you trying to get YouTube to package your show. What would it be?
I mean, I think this is it, right?
Creator Upload. If not there, next week on Creator Upload. See you then. Today's show was produced by Lauren Schnipper, Joshua Cohen, that's me, and Adam Connor. It's edited by Adam Connor too. Original music is by London Bridge. You can check him out on Instagram at London Bridge Music. Make sure you subscribe to Creator Upload right here on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts as well, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. While you're there, give us a rating and leave us a comment. If you want to talk, hit us up at info@creatorupload.com. If you like our show, recommend it to a friend. If you love it, just tell everyone. Thanks for listening to Creator Upload, and we will be back next week.